I'm going to click record. And so now what we're doing is we are recording in Zoom. And I'm also, cannot minimize Zoom when you're recording this meeting. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, that's fun. Just give me one other second. Here we go. Oh, I see what I have to do. Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Seth, I am ready.
All right. Well, let's call this meeting to order then. We will, is self-explanatory. We'll move to item B, roll call. Chair Seth, I am here. Vice Chair Ned.
Here.
Alder Randy, not here, not excused. Corey.
I'm here.
John.
Present.
Zoom 3, Julia.
Present.
Cody.
I'm here.
And Mark.
Here.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead, Seth.
Move on to approval of the agenda for today, August 12th. Is there a motion agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Corey. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by John. All those in favor, say aye or wave.
Aye.
All those say nay. All right, approved.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, an approval of the minutes from our last meeting on June 10th. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Mark. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ned. All those in favor, say aye or wave.
Aye.
All right, and all those opposed? All right, that's also approved. So we've got a quick meeting here today, but some exciting updates on some of our future work. So Celestine, I'll kick it over to you for item B.
Okay. So we are, let's talk about the code audit that's moving along. So the timeline right now is, so there's a few activities that we are going to engage in. So I know that JB had a great conversation with Corey. So thank you, Corey, for doing that. She thinks you're fabulous, as do I. So that's wonderful. So a couple things. We are going to be looking at our erosion control. We're going to be looking at landscape standards. We're going to be looking at also potentially doing a pilot project. And there's one other thing, which of course I don't have my notes in front of me, forgive me. So there's 4 really parameters. And the erosion control basically is adding a couple of sentences into our code to make it more robust. As I said, JB and Corey had a really great conversation about landscape standards, and we definitely need some work there. We can really accomplish a lot in a lot of aspects by upgrading that. And the one thing that I'm very excited about is a pilot project. So the way this is going to work is we're going to move forward with the code audit, that was the fourth thing, sorry, to have basically I'm so sorry, I'm very tired. I worked the election yesterday and it didn't go late, but I just didn't sleep well last night. So my brain is not firing on all cylinders, forgive me. So we're going to move forward with the editing, the marking up of our code, and the landscape standards and the erosion control. That we expect to come to committee in mid-September and then to council in October. The pilot project is going to take a little bit more work. So my job is to gather 10 to 15 staff members to basically have a big conversation or a couple big conversations about what a pilot project could look like. So not walking into this concept with a preconceived notion of a pilot project, but basically crafting one, and then same thing, bring it to committee probably early October, and then council mid-October in there. So the nice thing about that is that coincides with our hiring of a resiliency coordinator. So Julia, we had 81 applications for the resiliency coordinator, from far and wide, as far away as Honolulu, and as close as I think like Bond Street. So a lot of really great applicants. We basically whittled that list of 81 people down to 8 people that we are interviewing. Julia is part of our interview team because she was instrumental in getting those grants. And Matt Heckenleibel, and then the HR generalist, Jen Smits. Yeah, go ahead, Cody. Were you going to say something? Okay. So today we had 3 interviews. We have 1 more today. We have 4 tomorrow. And then, you know, we're going to be noodling what we need to do to move forward. I'm not sure if we're going to do second interviews. I was kind of talking about that a little bit with another staff member today. I'm not sure if that's usually our process. In the times that I've hired, I've been part of this team, an interview team. It usually isn't a second interview, but I'm not sure about this position, so we'll see. But the timeline for that is to have a decision made by the end of the month. And then that will give people an opportunity to make arrangements to get here. We did have some questions from our candidates about moving and our timeline. And, you know, because we're working remotely, I want to be flexible. I mean, obviously I would like someone very soon, especially since our code audit is wrapping up in a very nice way. And that would segue very nicely into giving that information where the resiliency coordinator could be part of some of those conversations and then begin. So I told the candidates that we're very open to a soft start time, which would include remote work. So that's where we are with both of those. I'm excited. I think we have 8 very strong candidates to move forward. Any questions? Oh, thank you, Seth.
You know what your time frame is for getting somebody actually on board working?
Yeah, so, you know, a couple of the candidates were looking at late September, early October, and that's why I said, well, we can have soft beginning as soon as possible and do that remotely. But, you know, we needed somebody 3 months ago. So that's why I want to be respectful of people's time, especially if they have to move to get here. But then also, we're living in a remote world, so let's take advantage of it. And there's a lot of onboarding that needs to happen. And like I said, a lot of participating in conversations that are going to be virtual anyway. So hopefully we can get someone to soft start sooner rather than later. Does that answer your question, Mark? Okay. All righty, that's what I've got. Working with Julia too, working with JB, her name is Julie Beth, has been fabulous. Just to let you know, one of the internal meetings that we have, we are talking about some new development. And, you know, I'm not the resiliency person, but having done some of this work with you and attending various conferences, you know, my eyes are open differently to resiliency and development. And so, you know, I can just send her a picture and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or do you have any better examples? And 5 minutes later, not even, she sends me another picture. Yeah, here are 3 examples of other developments that have used this and this and this. So why don't you, I mean, she's fabulous.
Will she be presenting the recommendations to this committee?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, we had talked about that.
Suppose.
So, you know what, let's get that on the agenda. You had mentioned that, Julia. that's what happens when you do two jobs.
Well, you just mentioned before that, something about going to committee and then the council, so I didn't
Yes,
know.
but
I
I
was just
think-
clarifying it was this committee.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually think that her recommendations, let's think about that for the September meeting. My intention was to take it through whatever committees it needed to go through, which would include this one. So she's much closer to wrapping up. So let's put that on the agenda for the September meeting. So that way, if it doesn't come to committee, if it doesn't come to the other committees until October, then at least sustainability would have the first bite at the apple. How does that sound?
Mhm. And then, I guess I don't know how it is, but I presented to the council for the initial, just kind of the
Yeah.
overview stuff too. So you feel free to use me in some capacity if needed, if she's, depending on who she's presenting to or whatnot.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, that's all I have.
Cool. On to the next item then, which I think is you again about the solar update.
Yes. Just give me 1 second, Seth. Okay, so in your packet, hopefully, I had put some information about the installation at Light Park. I also put a link to the video that we made with the mayor and Seth. And so that bill came in at $25,000 and change for the upgrade to the solar panels at Light Park. So that means, and I put that in there too, we have $34,000 left. At the beginning of the summer, I had contacted the fire department and I said, hey, it's time for us to talk about those installations on fire stations. I think it was Arnie Wolf and the one by Oneida. I think that's station 4. And I didn't hear anything back. And then we had a staff member who left, Jared, who's great. Oh, can you hand me that pen? Jared, who's a great guy, he went and got another job. And so that meant that we were, Terry and I were kind of doing a lot of work, thank you, sweetheart, at City Hall for the mayor's office. So then that conversation just dropped. So I did mention it to the mayor that we need to get going with these solar installations, at least at one of the other fire stations, but I wanted to update you. It's way finished at Light Park, which is great. Had a great little video that we did. Spent a little bit more money than I thought we would spend. That's okay because they need to be replaced. I think it's important to update and maintain your infrastructure before you go on and install new infrastructure. So, and I don't think that requires any additional action from this committee. We said, hey, let's spend this X amount of money, but yeah, go ahead, Ned.
I have a question about the other item from Light Park when we first voted on it, which was to install the car chargers.
Mhm.
So I think if that's not going to happen, we should take that back up as a committee and address that formally.
Okay. Yeah, it is not going to happen. And so, yes, let's take it up in September.
Okay. Just to get it clean on the record, because it's
Sure.
right now it's voted for, so we want to put that.
And, it's possible, everyone can noodle this for the next 4 weeks, but, it's possible that the new person can maybe find a little grant to install car chargers. I don't know if you had heard, well, everybody, I'm assuming had heard that WPS is pulling up stakes at their facility at what I call City Point. I don't know what's going to happen to their car charger. They have one. So then there's that. So yeah, I'll put it on the agenda for September along with an update from JB.
Cool. That's exciting. Speaking of WPS, I don't know around, but the parent company of WPS and We Energies committed to, just announced their commitment to 100% carbon neutral electricity, I believe it was, by 2050. So that's, I mean, that's a huge milestone. I think they are the 4th utility with coverage in Wisconsin that's done that. Xcel Energy, Madison Gas and Electric, Alliant Energy, and now 5th because WPS and We Energy. So great, yeah, great development in clean energy.
Awesome.
Well, any other questions or thoughts on this item? I haven't gotten any calls from Hollywood about the video, so I'll be sticking around. Sorry.
What about my directing?
There's one thing
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was the real genius behind the picture.
I like Celestine's hair, and I like Seth's hair. I like both of your hair. You guys could both be in.
There you go. Julia, what are you going to say?
I didn't know whether to save this for my update, but it's related to the pilot project.
Oh, sure.
There's an opportunity. Corey, I have not made any progress on this because I've been so busy, but there's I think, very easy opportunity. It's from UW-Madison, the Landscape Architecture Department. They put a call out for projects that people need design work done on, and then a student is assigned for the next year on doing it, and they research the area, and then they put together a whole like landscape place-based design for that area. So it's free, you know. I think it's really short, and I think they would love to send or have a student work on something that was green infrastructure related for Green Bay. It's due in 5 days, but like I said, it's a very easy, short application. So I know you said you don't know what the project might be, but maybe we could submit it. The other idea I had was for the schools, doing the Green Schools thing, but if you want free landscape architecture design work done for a pilot project, I think this could be a really great alignment opportunity.
Corey, does that sound like something you can do?
Yeah, I definitely think we were interested in that, you know, just throughout the parks in general. But yeah, no, I think it's a great idea as a program to kind of incorporate it with that. And I do think the timing is definitely appropriate and right for it. So I would be happy to work with somebody, you know, that landscape architect, and kind of walking them through whatever process or steps need to happen in order to make that project happen. So yeah, I'd be in favor of it.
And then offer to help you put together the application, because the city would have to be the applicant.
Okay.
I think there was only really one money kind of question in there. It was related to like if they came up and stayed overnight or something. We have support that help the student travel? So.
I know just with the whole COVID situation this year,
Yeah.
that we're trying to limit any spending. And so I guess at this time I'm thinking we probably couldn't commit to that, but I could look into it and like.
Well, also, you know, UW-Madison has travel restriction. So
Right.
it's like, I don't know, they're not promoting travel either. So that might be a moot issue for this. Okay, well, I'll follow up with it then, and we'll try to get something pulled together.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Julia, is this with Leslie and that green infrastructure group that we're connected with here? Is that what you're talking about, or is this something different?
This is just something that came, Leslie, I'm not, maybe I should know that, who you're talking about.
Leslie Sheridan, who
The green schools, yes. Well, I had thought, because part had, you know, the timing wasn't quite right for the park, some of the parks things to do. And I thought, well, maybe I could see if the Green Schools, that group, yeah, Leslie Sheridan, maybe they would like, you know, pick, is there a school that was already being focused on that, you know, a student could do some ideas of too. So if you think that's a good idea, I just had not had time to reach out to that group and say, hey, this is a quick application opportunity. Maybe if you wanted to get a, you know, some inspiration sites too.
Yeah, maybe just a quick email with that link, if you have it, would be good for
Okay.
that group. Thank you.
All right.
Cool. Well, that's the last item on the agenda. Before we adjourn, does anybody have any other updates or anything?
I do. I just wanted to let you all know that the Park Rec and Open Space Plan has been updated and approved by Park Committee and City Council. So it's available on our website. If you go to the Parks Department homepage, there's a tab that says Plans and Development, so you can find it in there. It also has like some of the maps with the trails on and park maps, things like that. So it's useful, I think. A good resource. And if anybody wants a hard copy, I do have some available, so I could get that to you if you'd like one.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
On the clean energy stuff, I reached out to the new superintendent for the public schools, Green Bay Public Schools, and found out that he had helped with a climate action plan at his old district. So I think he's interested in the work that we're doing, especially in our working group. And as is Seth also knows this, the group in De Pere who has the Sustainability Commission. I think they're looking at what we're doing and trying to base their next steps off of what we've done. So what we're doing seems to be rippling throughout the community. So I think that's pretty cool.
Just piggybacking on that, Ned, the student I had helping gather some of that carbon data and what we're putting together, we're probably within 2 or 3 weeks of having, I think, everything that we need compiled. But the student actually is on vacation right now. He did reach out to me. His internship is finished, but he would like to stay on working this project all the way through, not only with the numbers, but actually helping us out on doing committee work for the climate action plan. So should be awesome.
Good. That's good. And you have everything you need, right, John? All set?
I like to, I think I do.
Okay.
There's on mileage that I suspect I'm not going to get, and that I'll have to do estimations on just based on the amount of fuel consumed.
That's right. We actually don't. We had this conversation, I think, before, I had it with some senior staff members, especially police, fire, DPW. Yeah, we don't have good numbers on the mileage, actual usage of the vehicles that we have.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And frankly, like I said, we will estimate it.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, I think there was a memo that the police chief sent out, and I mean, they put, I think it was some ridiculous number, like 1,000 miles a day.
Sure.
On a police vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and then the DPW trucks, those probably get 5 miles to the gallon, or is it, I don't know if it's like a boat where you get, you know, 2 gallons to the mile. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. Other updates from folks?
Yeah, for the green infrastructure planning, not very much progress, but trying to make some progress. So the graduate student has done some really interesting work around green infrastructure in the Fisk neighborhood and doing some calculations. So in the future, there might be a small tour of that neighborhood and talking about ways like what green infrastructure could go there to reduce water quantity. And then also, I reached out to IT to try to start the conversation with working on with the forestry department, if you remember a few months
yeah.
ago. But I have not heard anything back from them. So ready to do further analysis for tree canopy. But we do need some kind of connection working with GIS and so any advice around that is helpful.
Unfortunately, you froze there a little bit. So you need, you know, it's the world we live in now, virtually. So you need help from IT.
We need to move with more canopy analysis with GIS, but we really do need a connection with the city on this. So, and then I would also try to wrap in the foresters once we have that forestry department.
Okay. Send me an email.
Okay.
And I guess in addition to that, I had just talked to Brian, the assistant city forester, and he was telling me that they were going to be kind of updating some of the information that we have with GIS, so that I think we will have even more information very soon, if not already, than we've had, you know, in the recent past. So I think it'll be good as far as a starting point, you know, as we move forward.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else? If not, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Ned and John, all those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. We'll see you all next month.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.